So, sabhi ko mera namaskar. Thank you all for joining us today in today's webinar. I am Dr. Gunjan Rajput, Director of Academic Operations at Rashtram. Today we are presenting Ayurveda and its role in transforming educational practices presented by Dr. Mala Kapadia. Without further ado, first I wanted to introduce the team Rashtram presented here in the webinar. We have with us Shri Shobhit Mathur ji, who is the Dean of Rashtram and co-founder of Vision India Foundation. Then we have with us Shri Raghava Krishna ji, who is the Associate Dean at Rashtram. And we have with us Dr. Mala Kapadia, who is the Professor of Wellness Practice at Rashtram and also the presenter of today's session. First, I would like to call Shobhit ji to take over and brief the audience about Rashtram. Shobhit ji, over to you.
Thank you, Gunjan ji. Namaste, everyone. I'm Shobhit Mathur. I am the Dean of Rashtram School of Public Leadership. More popularly, you would have heard of Vision India Foundation, which was founded about 6 years back. It is a Delhi-based non-profit focused on identifying bright young people, mentoring them and training them to engage with public policy and governance. We have had various programs in the past, and about 1,500 alumni, as we call them, have gone through our programs. About a year back, we have taken a new form. It's called the Rashtram School of Public Leadership, which is a more academic and institutional form of Vision India Foundation. The intent remains the same: to create self-aware and civilizationally assured public leaders for Bharat. So this is one big gap which we have realized in our polity, that we don't have public leaders which our country deserves. We want them to be grounded, we want them to be self-aware, and we want them to be civilizationally assured. And if you understand what Dr. Mala Kapadia is going to speak, a lot of it is also based on understanding oneself, that is being self-aware. We have 3 tracks. When we say public leadership, we look at 3 tracks. One is academic leadership or thought leadership, the ones who give direction academically and in terms of ideas to civilization. Then we have a political track, the ones who legislate and take these ideas and give them legitimacy. And then we have the social track, or the community leaders. These are the ones who work at the grassroots with the people and make the change happen. So academic leaders, social leaders, and political leaders, these are our focus areas. As we have 5 research areas, or we call them practice areas, on which we intend to develop expertise. Wellness is the first one, and Dr. Mala Kapadia represents that. Then we have civilizational studies. Then we have strategic and foreign relations. We have innovation in governance. Okay, sorry, I just got muted. So we have innovation in governance, where we focus on working with the government and taking our ideas and get them implemented through government. And finally, we have a regenerative development practice, where we work with non-profit organizations and design interventions. That's broadly our 5 research areas. I spoke about the 3 types of public leaders we want to create. And how does all this happen? We have a lot of short duration executive programs. One of them would be introduced to you in this webinar, which Dr. Mala Kapadia would be leading. We have 2 flagship programs. That's a long duration residential programs. It is called the Accelerator program, which is a 1-year program, and a Masters in Public Leadership, which is the 1-year program extended by 1 more year of research and on-field action. It's called the Masters in Public Leadership. So broadly, 3 tracks, 5 focus areas, and 2 flagship programs. And what you will be introduced to today is we'll have our Associate Dean Raghav speak on more of what I just said about how Rashtram is structured. And then Dr. Mala Kapadia would focus more on the wellness practice and the course she intends to offer to all of you. Thank you, everyone. Welcome once again. Back to you, Gunjan.
Yeah, thank you, Shobhit ji. Now I would like to request Raghav ji to introduce the learning philosophy of Rashtram. Raghav ji, over to you.
Thank you, Gunjan ji, and namaste, everyone. It's a privilege to have the attention, a lot of educators and people invested and influential in education. So at Rashtram, as Shobhit mentioned, our endeavor is to build self-aware and civilizationally assured. And those are two important words. How do you get assured about your own knowledge system? How do you get the confidence to represent your own heritage? And how do you do that with an elevated awareness of your own self? These are the subject matters of meditation when we think about learning philosophy at Rashtram. And fundamentally, any course that we architect and any material that we build towards this is indexed on 4 dimensions. The dimension of the physical intelligence, the dimension of the intellectual intelligence, the dimension of the cognitive intelligence, and the dimension of spiritual intelligence. And spiritual intelligence as the core, which then gives us the ability to cleanse our perceptions, cleanse our faculty, and thereby look at subject matter and not get caught in the debate between empiricism and reductionism. And this course is no different. This course is in fact very dear to us because it is fundamentally aimed at increasing the capacity to do the most important work of the nation. It is only the teachers that have the mandate of securing the most precious resource the nation has. When we're talking about public leadership, it is essentially nurturing the minds and hearts of our next generation. And only teachers have that mandate. The vision of this program, guided by the learning philosophy of a holistic, multiple intelligences based paradigm, is to really elevate the ability of our teachers, of our educators, to connect with the young learners in their current contemporary context and situate the learning endeavors in a manner that will deepen their own understanding of the self and their engagement with the world. So Malaji will talk about the philosophy of the program, but this is guided by the vision that India has given to the world when it comes to education, which has perhaps found its best expression in Swami Vivekananda's words when he says, education is nothing but bringing out the inherent perfection in man. So with that, we'll try and explain how this program is structured. And you would notice that a lot of elements around how we get these intelligences working together and flourishing, and how do we elevate the ability of the teachers to connect and deliver on their core mandate of building the minds and hearts of the people for the next generation. You would see all of this coming together in this course. Thank you, Gunjan.
Thank you, Raghavji. So now we have Dr. Mala Kapadia, the speaker of this webinar. Dr. Mala Kapadia is Professor, Director of Wellness Practice and Resident Mentor at Rashtram. She has a master's and doctorate in literature. She is a writer, international speaker, and executive coach, integrating yoga and Ayurveda. She previously served as adjunct professor at the SP Jain School of Global Management on the campuses of Dubai, Singapore, Sydney, and Mumbai. She's a researcher in the area of holistic well-being and integrated intelligence for more than 30 years. She's also author of several books like Hard Skills, Emotional Intelligence for Work and Life. She has been a pioneer of institutions in Asia. She's also the founder of Human Potential Consulting, named Tame the Monkey. So Malaji, there is a lot to tell and learn from you. So I would not like to take much of your time. So just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the presentations, you can please type them into the question box in your Zoom control panel. I'll try to bring them up during the presentation, if like Malaji you allow. And we'll also have time for your questions at the end. So thank you all for coming here. And like over to you, Malaji.
Thank you, Gunjan. Namaskaram and welcome to everyone. We would begin this program in our traditional Rashtram way. So let us all pray and invoke the divine before we get into our own dialogue. Sahana vavatu, Sahanau bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavaditamastu, Ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti. Shanti, Shanti. I welcome everyone here, and I have my gratitude to each and every one of you who have found time to come here and listen to this webinar and understand how Ayurveda can make an impact on our life as an educator. Unfortunately, what has happened in India is that uh, many of us have started in a school or college or a curriculum which is borrowed from the West. Uh, and, and it's sad that a lot of our own wisdom we have not been able to integrate into the formal education. So this program is more of my own journey through the my own academic journey plus my corporate journey plus my teaching journey, and then all the frustrations that I was facing at different points in my life made me realize that okay, this is not the path I want to go, and let's look at another path. And you know, when you keep on taking detours from the highway, one realizes that very inspiring openings or inspiring possibilities can open up. And what I've realized in my life, and you would have seen when Gunjan was introducing me, that my own academic journey has been through various fields, and I'm really grateful for this journey. What happens is that when we are somewhere seeking, right? I mean, I would call myself more of a seeker rather than a teacher. And when you are seeking uh, your own potential, you realize different ways of helping others discover their own potential. And I'm really grateful to Rashtram for this possibility that we have launched this program. The moment we connect with educators who are the best influencers, right? And when when we impart this knowledge with them, the possibility of multiplying it manifold is opening up. This program is, as I shared, a result of my own journey. So let me share a little about my own journey, because that entire journey is getting reflected in the way the program is designed. I've been born and brought up in Bombay, studied in New Era School, one of the, I would say, the best school. And when I was reading the NEP 2020, I realized that, oh my God, 100 years ago, New Era had started with some very similar philosophy of education. So our primary education was in mother tongue, and the post-primary, one subject would turn into English. So by the time I completed my 11th, which was the old SSC at that time, all the papers we answered in English. However, with a very strong rootedness in our own culture, very strong roots in languages, Gujarati, Hindi, English, and Sanskrit. And then when I joined college, my choice of subject was psychology, St. Xavier psychology. However, I was extremely disappointed that all the textbooks were from the West. There was nothing Indian about the curriculum there. And why was I seeking something Indian in the curriculum there? Because I have been lucky in my school to have a teacher, my own Sanskrit teacher, who was a devotee of Sri Aurobindo and the mother. And on all my birthdays, I still cherish the small gifts of mother's photograph and flowers, small booklets written by Sri Aurobindo and mother's philosophy, I would receive as a gift. And Sri Aurobindo has said that all life is yoga and yoga is psychology. So when I entered St. Xavier's, obviously I was seeking a fulfillment of one's own desire to understand what is human psyche, why are we on this planet, what are we all doing, how do we become better human beings. Unfortunately, none of the psychology curriculum at that time answered any of these questions. However, I was already a writer at that time. My poems were being published, And therefore, I continued my post-graduation journey in literature, that too in Gujarati literature. I mean, many people, when you know that, oh, you are in St. Xavier's and then you go to SNDT. However, I think that the divine really played this good role in creating this change in my path. Because what in a social accepted language, you would say that, oh, it's a very downgrading thing to go to a women's university. Trust me, the environment, the learning exposure that SNDT provided to me, it cannot match what the Bombay University was offering at that time. And I'm really grateful that Bombay University did not allow me to continue and do a post-graduation in a different subject, changing from psychology to literature. And when I did Gujarati literature, I learned more psychology through literature, through the subjects of Natya Shastra and Kavya Shastra. And therefore I realized that, oh my God, our own literature can be so holistic and give us so much more exposure rather than reading or learning from textbooks which are not from our own culture. One second. Just 1 second. I'll just take just 1 second. Thank you. I'm really sorry. So I realized that when we study from our own culture, our own literature, our own language, the exposure that you get to understanding human psyche is much more. Post that, life took me to academics, life took me to human resources. I had my own journey in learning from IGNOU, the human resources course, and later on joined corporates. However, I realized that in mid-90s, when I read the book by Daniel Goleman on emotional intelligence, and that emotional intelligence is one of the part of this program. When I read emotional intelligence, I realized that, oh my God, he's talking of families of emotions. He's talking of human psychology. And this is exactly what we have studied in Kavya Shastra. However, we have never created frameworks, models, or integrated that beyond literature. And Daniel Goleman actually opened up a Pandora of possibilities of integrating from the field of psychology into corporate training. I've had a long career, more than a decade in corporate and HR, more than 2 decades of consulting with corporates, and at the same time, adjunct professor with SP Jain School of Global Management, where organization behavior, organizational development, leadership, team building, these were the areas where I shared my knowledge. SP Jain gave me the possibility to integrate our Indian wisdom. And this program today that I'm talking about is why I shared my journey. This program is a result of the entire journey. In academics, I realized that, okay, there is a certain, some students there in the classroom are very happy with my sessions. However, there are some students who are extremely unhappy. And then, depending on their feedback, I started paying attention to what is my style, what is my teaching style. And I realized that, okay, we have been learning about personality in psychology. However, we have hardly connected the knowledge or wisdom of personality into our own teaching style. We have never thought of different learning style of students in the classroom. However, if I go back to my journey of emotional intelligence, I started writing my own book, and the research took me back that, oh, if I really want to understand how emotions impact our life, how emotions make us behave, or how emotion impact our relationship, I went back all the way to Ayurveda, because Ayurveda and yoga both have a lot of wisdom on how our mind works. See, the sad part is that in the West, the entire science of psychology is very young. I mean, hardly 150 to 200 years young. And also what has happened, the entire science of psychology in the West has evolved out of understanding abnormal behavior. It did not start with understanding positive behavior. However, when we look at Indian wisdom, we realize that there was no area. I mean, if you look at Indian psychology and type, you will find names of people who are psychologists and from India. However, very few literature you would find on psychology insights from India or Vedic psychology, which is now becoming popular. And when you realize that why is so India has so much wisdom, and then you realize that it's the philosophy. We clubbed everything in philosophy. So when I started studying Ayurveda, the first subject was Padartha Vijnana, which is quantum physics. Now, today we are talking of interdisciplinary science. Today we are talking of multidisciplinary learning. However, way back, more than 5,000 years ago, when the literature of Vedas and Ayurveda were evolving, first as an oral tradition and then as a written tradition, we realized that everything was a part of philosophy of life. So Ayurveda, unfortunately, people see it as a medical science. It's not just a medical science. Medical part, it's there as a part of Ayurveda. However, Ayurveda, as the name suggests, is science, that is Veda, of Ayu, how to live the life. And therefore, human psyche, or how to live a life which makes us happy and healthy, is a basic part or the foundation of Ayurveda, beginning with Padartha Vijnana, which is rooted in Sankhya Yoga. So our entire way of understanding human psyche is not from Darwin's theory of evolution, but it's more of involution, that from the universe, from the macrocosm, how has the microcosm evolved? And that is where the personality theories, if we really want to look at personality theories, in the West, the personality theories, one, it came from the puzzle of understanding human behavior. However, it only looked at behavior. And behavior, if we say human being is like an iceberg, then behavior is only the tip of the iceberg. What is not visible are the psychic forces below iceberg. And in many of my sessions, I ask my students that what sank the Titanic? Was it the above part of the iceberg, or what was below the iceberg? And we all know that it was the invisible part of the iceberg which sank the Titanic. And this is exactly what we see in our life, that if we focus only on behavior, our own life may not really reach the highest level of satisfaction, our own potential and the possibilities. So where do we need to focus? And this is where Ayurveda, or now what I'm working on a concept note and a white paper, what I call Vedic psychology as a deep psychology. Why deep? Because it goes below iceberg. We talk of not just the subconscious and the unconscious mind, but we also go to the cellular level. We also go deep down to sanskaras. And when we understand what is below iceberg and how it impacts our behavior above iceberg, that is where we become more fulfilled as a human being. Now, connecting this with a teacher's training or a faculty development program, we have called it a transforming educational process, TEP program. It's a faculty development program, of course, however, with a very different focus and a very different curriculum, also a very different andragogy. We don't even call it a pedagogy, Because pedagogy, we say pediatrist is for a child, right? I mean, a doctor who can treat your child. So andragogy is a way of learning which is adult to adult. Synagogy, which is a way of learning from peers. So in this entire program of 6 weekends, we will learn from each other, we will learn as adults, and we'll learn from the basic Indic philosophy of learning, which believes that nothing can be taught. All the wisdom that we need is already within us, or it is around us, it's there in the cosmos, and all we need to do is dig it out. Either you dive deep, and therefore deep psychology, either you dive deep and dig out the wisdom from your own self, or you learn it from your peers and reflect on it, internalize it, and then you put it into practice in your real life. So as teachers, many of us would have gone through a lot of FDPs, where we learn new skills, right? I mean, where we learn how to become better teachers. However, many a times also our frustration is that whatever we learn, either we are not able to implement it immediately in the classroom or now the online teaching, or a lot of it we try to implement. However, it doesn't align with who we are as a person, and therefore we drop it. The learning curve goes high, and then maybe it plateaus, and then maybe it goes down. However, this program is actually more of a transformation rather than knowledge or information. All the emotional intelligence programs in corporates, I have realized from the West, are more cognitive. They believe more brain focused, and they do not include the whole person. So this program, because we are looking at integrating Indian wisdom in this program, is more holistic in a way that will include the whole of you. And you as an academic person, you as a faculty, you as an administrator of institution can benefit, one, by understanding who you are. And how does Ayurvedic profiling fit in here? Ayurvedic profiling is based on Panch Mahabhuta. Panch Mahabhuta are the 5 elements. And not just India, but many of the ancient cultures, even the Greek, Chinese, Japanese, they all believed, South American, they all believed into the elements. And they believe that the entire universe is made up of elements. Now, if the entire universe is made up of elements, which is the macrocosm, and if we are the microcosm, we are also made up of those 5 elements. So we'll begin our journey by understanding 5 elements. Does anyone, let's now make this little interactive. Would anyone want to share with me what are the 5 elements? Do they remember it?
Vat, Pitta, Kapha, Dosh. No, sorry. It's
Okay, these are the doshas, right?
Doshas.
That's the next level. But what are the doshas made up of? What are the Panch Mahabhuta?
Prithvi, Aap, Tej, Vayu, Akash.
Yes.
Absolutely. So we begin with big picture first. We begin with Akash, Vayu, Agni, which is fire, Apa, which is Jal or water, and then there is Prithvi. So we are on Prithvi Loka, so therefore the Parthiv Sharir, right? We call it a Parthiv Sharir. And we say in India that whenever somebody leaves the body, the soul leaves the body, we say that you have, disintegrated into Panch Mahabhuta. That disintegration happens because we are made up of Panch Mahabhuta. And when we leave this world, all those elements go back to their own place. However, Ayurveda has a very interesting philosophy, and they say that all these 5 elements have their own qualities. It's not about utility of the bhuta, it's the quality, it's the innate quality or nature of this Panchamahabhuta. So let's say when we look at Akash, what comes to your mind? What does Akash represent?
Infinity.
Space.
Sorry?
Infinity.
Infinity. Absolutely. It can be void, it can be infinity. And the best part of Indic wisdom is that we do not see void as nothingness. We do not see void as shunya, right? But when we look at Akash, and we say that Akash is full of scripts or energy, which is unmanifest or manifest. So there are a lot of stories. And in the West, now the new age is talking of how can you read your own Akashic records, right? I mean, now we talk of iCloud and where we store information. So in reality, Akash is infinite, Akash is mysterious. And if this is what Akash is, Akash in us also happens at two levels. At physical level, obviously there are empty spaces, right? Beginning with our nostril, in our mouth, our food pipe and windpipe, so that the food can enter stomach. There is emptiness or Akash in our stomach, so the food gets assimilated and digested and then eliminated. So from head to toe, there is Akash within us. However, Akash is also in our mind. So when we are looking at personality, how does Akash affect us at mind level? What does Akash do to our mind?
It brings calmness to us when we observe the sky.
Absolutely wonderful. At one level, Akash represents calmness. Second level, is it also detachment? Because all the storms and hurricanes may happen in the sky, but Akash is untouched by it, right? All the drama unfolds in the sky, but the sky does not get affected by it. Yes, Vishwa, would you like to share something?
So, ma'am, my question is, all these Panch Mahabhutas, can we measure them? Can we account for them somehow?
Okay, we cannot actually measure each Panch Mahabhuta, but what Ayurveda allows us and helps us to do is through either a Nadi Pariksha or through questionnaire, and we'll be using a questionnaire that we can. Okay, Ram KVS, I'll come back to your question. I'll answer Vishwa first. Okay. What happens is Ayurveda combines Panchamahabhuta into three dosha. Earlier somebody talked of Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So Vata is combination of Akash and Vayu. Pitta is combination of Agni and Jala. Because if fire is there in our body on its own, we would have been burnt alive, right? So fire exists in water. How does it exist in water? When we cry, the water that comes out from the eyes is warm. Our saliva is warm. Our digestive juices that digest the food also has its Agni, right? Therefore, we call it Jataragni. So fire resides in the water. When we are angry, what do we say? Sometimes we say, my blood boils. How can blood boil? Blood cannot boil. The Agni in our blood becomes active. And therefore, you feel the hot flashes, or you feel that your cheeks become red, your voice gets raised, and that's where different emotions are getting connected now with each dosha or each element. So slowly, what in this program, what we will unfold is, one, we will understand the Panch Mahabhuta. Not so much at a body level. Of course, we'll look at body level, but more at a mind level. And therefore, how is our nature or our Prakruti made up of these Panch Mahabhuta? Each Panch Mahabhuta also brings its own gift and talent for us. So let's say if Akash is up there, it also makes us vast. If Akash is infinite. Sorry?
For me, Akash also means hope.
Wonderful. Now see, this is the best part of Vedic psychology, that it allows you the possibility of individual interpretation, right? For some people, it can be hope. For some people, it can be vastness. And now when we connect that vastness, does that make us more open to others' ideas, more accepting of other people's point of view? Right? So Akash in us can also manifest in different way. The same is true of all the other bhutas. However, when we look at other bhutas, not Akash, but other 4 bhutas, we also realize, Ram KVS, this is now scientifically proved that there is nothing objective in the universe. This is what quantum physics says. I'm not saying. Okay? If you study physics, quantum physics, it says that the observer is a part of the observation. And therefore, all the claims that this is objective and this is scientific is merging with what we call subjective or spiritual. So coming back to the other 4 Mahabhutas, they are, Akash is neutral. It does not have positive and negative qualities. However, when we look at Vayu, it can be very pleasant or it can be violent, right? It can be aimless and directionless. When we look at fire or Agni, it can make us very inspiring. It can make me very motivated. However, if imbalanced, the same fire can make me angry, irritated, upset, get into fit of rage. If you look at water, the same thing. Water is calm. It can flow and take everyone. People with high water can be very emotional. However, the same water can create floods, can create havoc. When we look at Prithvi, generally the Prithvi Tattva or the earth, when we talk of it, we also absolutely, it's grounded, right? Akash does not keep us grounded. Prithvi keeps us grounded. Akash allows us to, be universal, but Prithvi makes us grounded. And when we are grounded, we are connected with our roots. We nurture ourselves and we are able to nurture other people. All our resources that we need to live come from these 4 Mahabhutas. Generally, when we say Prithvi, we talk of Mother Earth, right? I mean, we never say Father Earth. Generally, we say Mother Earth. And therefore, then one of the quality of Mother is to be calm, to take a lot of nonsense from other people. And this is what we are seeing in nature. However, whenever there is earthquake or whenever nature decides to give us back what we are experiencing in climate change now, this is the quality that we also inherit as people. So people who are high on Prithvi Tattva or in them, within them, may superficially look very quiet. However, when they explode, chances are their anger would be devastating others. So we look at, and this is the basic science of Ayurveda, that the Panch Mahabhutas, out of them 4, either they are balanced or they are imbalanced. So that's the next level of understanding. One, we understand Panch Mahabhutas. Second, we understand through our lifestyle, through our food, and food, not just the food that we eat, but all the food for all our 5 senses. What food are we injecting, which keeps us either balanced or makes us imbalanced? And we would have realized that, especially as teachers, it's very critical for us to be in a balanced state. Because when we are in the classroom, when we are in front of, let's say, 100 students or 50 students, if we are not balanced, we are not able to share our knowledge. We are not able to fulfill the learning needs of our students. And therefore, the second level, we learn what is balance and imbalance, how does it impact us, and how to remain in balance. Post that, we look at combination of Panchabhutas into Tridosha, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, as I said, and these are the basic foundation. Tridoshas is, they call our Prakruti. And this is the basic difference between all the personality theories from the West and the Ayurvedic profiling. If you look at those who are from the field of psychology would know that. How do we know? We know from the assessment. It can be either a Nadi Pariksha with a Vaidya, or it's a questionnaire that you fill up. And in this program, we'll help you do your own assessment and understand what is your Prakruti. Now, we are born with this Prakruti. In the West, the word personality itself has come from a Latin word persona. And anyone, what is persona? Any idea?
Ma'am, actually, persona is used for personality.
Yes, persona is used for personality, but the original meaning of persona is a mask. Okay, in the pandemic world, we are wearing different masks. That's for a different reason. However, since childhood, most of us develop a personality. They talk of developing a personality, which means we put a mask, we show up a presence which is more of acceptable nature, which is validated by others. So there is a slight split into who we are really and who we project to the world. And therefore, psychologists have been struggling really with all the trait theory, type theory, temperament theory, how much of body impacts the personality, how much of mind impacts the personality. And their theories are evolving. There are a lot of paradigm shifts that you see in every field of science, including psychology. However, this is where Vedic psychology of Ayurvedic profiling is more authentic because it is our genetic. There is a new field of Ayurgenomics which is coming up, which is scientifically studying how our genes are made up of Panchamahabhuta and Tridosha. And what is that function? There are a lot of papers. Anyone enrolling for this course and anyone doing more, wanting to know more scientific research, I'll be able to share a lot of papers, research papers on this theory which is evolving now. However, we need to first of all, we need to have a little more trust into the science that our country has for centuries, right? And humanity needs it. So Ayurvedic profiling is as far way ahead. It's higher and deeper both compared to personality theories of the West, which is more on the superficial behavior level. Ayurvedic profiling goes all the way down to our genetics, our Prakruti, because the word Prakruti comes, when we say Prakruti is nature, right? So our Swabhava, the template of our Prakruti is decided the moment we are conceived. And when once we are born, or depending on how the 9 months of pregnancy, and therefore we have sanskaras, and in fact that's a whole different science which I'm not going to talk about now, but I'll stay focused on Ayurvedic profiling. We can actually know the Ayurvedic profile of a person at birth. Most of the cases, 99.9 of the cases, your genetic makeup does not change. That's why we say prana or prakruti ek saath jaate hain, which means your life and prakruti are parallel. They are together. All your life you'll remain in your prakruti. So where is the scope or possibility? Scope or possibility is in staying balanced. How do I stay balanced? Now, as I was sharing with you a lot of feedback of my own students where they were enjoying or not enjoying my sessions, I realized that this understanding of personality or Ayurvedic profiling can be easily connected with teaching style. Depending on what my personality is, which Panchmahabhut do I have more within me, there is a possibility that I'm on an autopilot mode. Because most of us don't really even go deeper into understanding who we are. Unless we understand who we are, we will never realize, and for that we all need to take a pause. We all do a lot of psychometric assessments, right? And those assessments help us understand who we are. So Ayurvedic profile helps us understand what is our teaching preference. It goes as deep into even why have I chosen this subject to be taught? Why did I get attracted to science or physics? Why did I get attracted to geography? Why did I get attracted to music? Why did I get attracted to dance? And why have I chosen, if it was a choice, right? Many a times what happens, unfortunately, that we choose a subject which is giving you more salary. I mean, unfortunately, we do see that, that the demand for certain subjects is more, or which coaching classes would allow you to earn more. These would have guided the choices. However, if you look at yourself, what do you enjoy teaching more? And then you would realize that it is certainly connected with your personality. Because if you are enjoying more of abstract, more of, a science or a subject which has more of possibility, then chances are your Akash Tattva or Vayu Tattva is guiding you more. Then let's look at the style. What is your style? Do you have a session plan ready? Do you always go by the material? Do you have the material ready to teach in each class? Let's say if you are teaching 2 different divisions, do you actually replicate the same session in both the A and B division? Or are you very creative, and then what happens is that, oh, I'm teaching something else here, and maybe when I teach in the next division, depending on the energy, depending on the guidance of the students and how I allow the class to evolve, maybe some material would change. I would maintain the boundary, but I may not become very rigid about what I teach. Are you step by step, or are you free flowing? Now, all these are guided, and many a times we are on an autopilot. We don't even know what our teaching style is. Also, many a times we get attracted to students. I mean, if I ask you, let's do this exercise, and if at all in future you do your Ayurvedic profiling, and if you also get to do the Ayurvedic profiling of your student, you would realize what insight I'm trying to generate within you. Just close your eyes and think of your favorite student. Now think why this student is your favorite. What is the behavior within the class about that student? What is it about that student which is making you like that student more? Anyone? Any answer? Any insight that you've been able to generate?
Yes, student is sincere.
Yeah, I can't hear. I can hear a murmur, but I'm not able to hear.
Ma'am, student is sincere, hardworking, disciplined.
Sorry?
Student is hardworking, sincere.
The attention and curiosity, Sejal. Thank you so much. Yeah. Handwriting of student. Wow. Savita Punlik, can I see you? Can I see you on screen?
Ma'am.
Yeah. I'm unable to see responsiveness of him or her. Okay. Why I asked Savita to see? Because handwriting is something very tangible, right? Curiosity is up there in the sky. However, yeah, Pradyumna, you want to share something?
Because I liked some student because he was not writing what I'm dictating.
Okay.
He's simply attentive to the words to word, but not concentrating upon his writing. He was not keen to write. That is my pleasure to select him.
Wonderful. Now, I'll come back to your listening and not writing. And here somebody is saying the handwriting, okay? Reena is writing, hardworking, okay. Now what happens is, why would you get attracted to a handwriting? It's something very tangible. So chances are that Savita herself has a lot of earth element in her. And maybe because of her own earth element, she is getting attracted to handwriting. And now the second example, that a person was not writing down notes that a teacher is dictating, but the person was very attentive and only listening. Now when I learn, now this shows a learning preference of the student. And thank you, because, okay, student challenging my perspective. I'll come to that next. When we pay attention to how is this student learning, right? And if the person is not writing but more attentive and more auditory, then the auditoriness, your learning through listening comes more because of Vayu and Akash Tattva. And that is the reason why this student prefers to listen and learn. Somebody said, when the student challenges me, chances are that you are a high fire person, because fire people love to be ignited. And when somebody in the class is challenging you, it's igniting the intelligence. Now, do you realize that possibly you never paid attention to whether your earth element is responding in the classroom, your fire element is responding in the classroom, or is it the air element of the student which is becoming a learning style? But in this program, you will have a possibility of understanding everything in detail. One, your own personality. Two, how to keep it balanced. Three, how does it create your teaching style? Four, what are different learning styles? Optimism. Saurabh, thank you so much. Yes, optimism again is connected with fire. You will understand different learning preferences, which become finally a learning style of different students. You'll also understand that, okay, I was on autopilot. This has been my preferred way of teaching. However, many a times what happens, very unconsciously, we start labeling students who are not matching us. So if they match who we are, chances are they become our favorite. Chances are we pay little more attention to them. Chances are we give them marks little more leniently. However, this all happens at a very, what is my Prakruti? Vishwasha? Okay, you'll discover my Prakruti when we interact little more, right? When you understand Ayurvedic profiling, chances are you will be able to understand my Prakruti as well. So what is there at a deeper level? This is what the deep psychology allows us or helps us bring it on the surface, right? So I understand, are there any right, wrong in the doshas? No, there is nothing right, wrong. All the doshas are good. However, because we are born with it, we only need to remain balanced in the dosha. Because the moment the dosha goes out of balance, our personality, our behavior changes, and how we respond to situation and people around us changes, our health also changes. So to remain healthy and to maintain our relationship, we need to understand Ayurvedic profiling. Now let's connect this with emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence, Daniel Goleman's basic model is very foundational and easy to understand. He talks of emotional intelligence at two levels. He talks of it as awareness level and action level. And again, for self and others. So he begins with self-awareness or self-knowledge as first competency in emotional intelligence. And when we connect this to Ayurveda, knowing your Prakruti. ठीक है रामदेव जी, मैं आपको सारांश हिंदी में जरूर बताऊंगी.
Mala ji, sorry to interrupt in between. I'm Gunjan. So Mala ji, I have a quick question because sure. I'm associated with this teacher educator domain. So right. If I get all the information from your course and suppose I want to actually train my teachers in this area, because you will train me, but I want to train my teachers. So what I can get from your course, basically, it's my personal curiosity, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gunjan, because this is level 1, right? In November, what we are offering is level 1 of 6 weekends, 24 hours of learning. However, this is your awareness level, right? This is information level. This will transform you as a teacher. However, if you want to teach other teachers, or if you want to train other teachers, you need to do level 2. And for level 2, there will be another course that will be announced shortly, the moment we complete the admissions for level 1. And the prerequisite for level 2 is that one should have done level 1. Because unless you have done level 1,
Okay.
you will not be able to teach other people, right?
Okay. So, Malaji, if it is possible, can we talk about the course outline, which actually we are going to take away from your course, if it is possible for you?
Yeah, sure, Gunjan. This is exactly what I was saying, that this is the course outline. Understanding Panchamahabhuta, understanding Tridosha, understanding their relationship as a Prakriti, understanding relationship with teaching style, understanding different learning preferences of our students, right? Based on all the above, and then connecting with emotional intelligence, self-awareness. But self-awareness is not enough. I need to learn to manage myself. And the moment I'm aware and I'm managing myself better, then obviously I start understanding others, because which is social awareness, the third competency in Daniel Goleman model. And from self-awareness, naturally my relationship management is much better, which is the fourth competency. So we relate all the journey of Ayurvedic profiling and deep psychology to ultimately the Daniel Goleman's 4 competency model.
Yeah, thank you, Malaji. So going forward, I would like to open this webinar for this course specific questions. If the audience does have any the course specific questions, they can ask or they can raise their hands or write in the chat box. Malaji, yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah. So, this program is available on like online basis, or are they getting any offline services also? Like, can you please elaborate on this?
This is an online program. Because of pandemic, all of us are stuck wherever we are, right? So we are offering it over weekends, Saturday and Sunday, 11 to 1. And it will be from 21st November till 27 December.
Okay. So Malaji, like
Pradyumna Joshi, Gunjan, Pradyumna Joshi was raising his hand.
Yeah, please.
Pradyumna, would you like to ask your question?
Malaji, there is another question. Is this course is only meant for teacher educators or educators only?
Okay. We would focus on educators. However, a lot of inquiries had come from psychologists, HR people who are into learning and development. And therefore, what we are planning to do is, it would be very nice mix of psychologists and HR professionals and educators, right? So we would combine the wisdom of deep psychology and Ayurvedic profiling and connect it to our everyday interactions in our work area.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Who is there? Like, please.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Pradyumna Joshi.
Please ask.
Nowadays, national education policy is on implementing part. What is the relevance with that policy implementation with your course start?
Okay. The policy implementation part is that your own teaching, you will be able to implement what you are learning here into your own teaching, right?
Yeah.
Because See, NEP wants us, all the educators, to be interdisciplinary. However, unfortunately, I mean, this is the question I ask in many of my FDPs, that have you ever studied, when you were a student, have you ever studied geography and music together?
Good.
Right? And nobody has done that. However, when I ask the faculty to think about it, that how can we do it, easily, very easily, people say that, oh, a geography teacher, when he or she is teaching about different regions in the world, we can also have a music session that is the music from that region. Now see how becoming interdisciplinary is so easy, but we have never thought about it.
Yeah, same thing may happen for this Ayurveda and this.
Sorry, can you come again?
Same thing can happen with this Ayurveda and the multidisciplinary other subjects.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because whenever you see students in your class, and if you feel that, oh, this person is only taking notes but not paying attention or listening, all right, then maybe you will try to understand what is the Ayurvedic profile of your student, and you will be able to help that person use different preferences, different styles into the classroom. You'll be able to make that person's learning capability much more than what is here at the moment. Yes, people from technology can also join. I just saw a question where somebody asked, people from technology can also join.
Asking what is it the course for researchers in technology?
Sorry, what is
in the course for researchers in technology? Like those who are researching in the area of technology. I guess Venkatesh, it's education technology.
Yeah. So this course allows you to, if you are interested more in the research of technology, you can see how technology can be used to do profiling, right?
Okay. Malaji, very interesting question. Somebody asked, like, how will you select the participants? So, like, how will you select or deselect the participants? Please.
Gunjan, I think you are a better person to answer that, right?
No, actually, I know, because selecting a teacher or deselecting a teacher, it's nothing a criteria for a teacher. It's no criteria at all. Exactly. So all the teachers who want to actually nurture their students, who want to make engaging classroom in their teaching domain, they can actually join us. So our ultimate objective is not to actually run a course, it's just to bring a change. So like this course is open, but we have certain limits in terms of our seats. So we'll see, but definitely you will get all your queries handled through our webpage. We do have a consultation column there. If you want to, if you have any specific query and you want to know more about our program, you can just put all the information in that column, and we'll arrange one call either with Malaji or somebody else in our Rashtram team, so they can solve all your queries. And somebody asked whether registrations, like how to register. So our registrations are open. You can actually visit our webpage. Applications are open now, and as we saw that we have a lot of registered candidates for our webinars. So we have introduced this early registration discounts also. So if you want to get those discounts, you can register through our website. Yes, some more questions are there, Malaji.
Haji, tell me, Gunjan.
Yeah. Somebody is asking that I'm from Chennai, and do you do Ayurvedic profiling also, like through online mode? So Pushpaji is asking this question.
Yeah, we'll do profiling. As a part of this program, profiling will be done online.
Yeah. Saurabh, yes, you will get all the registration details. You can on our website. You can visit our website. There, our application form is open. Okay. One more question is there. Are there any rights or wrongs in the doshas, or the doshas just needs to be balanced? It's not actually related to exactly the course, but yes, the talk which you gave,
Yeah, so there is no, as I answered this question, Gunjan, there is no right or wrong dosha, right? And all doshas are good. They all bring, and we are born with it, right? So we cannot change. However, you can only keep your doshas balanced.
Yeah.
I think somebody checked that due to internet issues, if somebody misses a session, we would have our recording available, and you will be able to get in touch with the operation team and get.
Is there any internet issue from my side? Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, Gunjan. Tell me.
Okay. So Kritisha is asking what is meant by balancing of dosha. It's again, they are going back to your lecture actually. Doshas, Prakriti, Panchmahabhuta.
Actually, balancing dosha, I mean, maybe you missed the earlier part. I explained what is balancing dosha. Let's say a pitta dosha, which is combination of fire and water in our body. And it's connected with Agni. And Agni is connected with sun. Therefore, the fire in our body will go high as the sun goes higher. Now, if such a person misses breakfast because you have got up late or you had some other task to do, by the time you reach your institution, you get into a classroom, and by you don't even eat anything till lunch, chances are your anger will start coming up, maybe even at a smaller question of innocent question also you may irritate you. And I'm sure many of us have experienced this, right? That if you miss your breakfast, some people are comfortable till lunchtime even if they don't eat anything. However, some people, either their energy saps or they become extremely irritated and even angry. So it's very important to understand what is my dosha. If I'm a fire dominant person, what lifestyle, what routine would keep me in balance? That is balancing dosha.
Yeah, somebody has asked like what is the fees and what is the discount available. Jatinji, like the fees is 10,000 including GST, and as I said, like we have early registration discounts also. So you can actually apply through our website. So there you can actually avail those good discounts. Yeah, any specific question regarding the course or the program, if somebody wants to ask?
What are the timings, ma'am?
11 to 1. Because then that gives us the freedom to complete the household work. Since pandemic times, everyone is pressurized, right?
And Saturday, Sunday, both the days?
Saturday, Sunday, both the days, yes. The curriculum and each topic are there. Aniruddha, they are there on the website. When you go to the website for TEP, all the modules, every weekend program, each module is given them.
People are relating your course with their field actually, Malaji. Somebody is asking how should relate it to management studies.
Okay, like, it can be, it can be very well connected with management studies. In fact, this program started in management because we, as managers, again, as teachers, if you are on an autopilot teaching style, as managers also we are on autopilot managing and leadership style. So you will be able to understand your managerial style. You'll also be able to understand other people in your team and how do you manage them. Like simple in management feedback, right? Even teachers do it, even managers do it. Now, what would a pitta dosha, high on fire person want or expect as a feedback? They would want intellectual feedback on the content of their assignment or the project. However, what would a kapha dosha, which is more of water and earth element person, expect from you as a manager or a teacher, is more of the appreciation for that person's contribution. So, how do you give feedback? Maybe you are on autopilot style and you are giving feedback, but how is the other person accepting your feedback will be very, individualistic. And we are able to match our style with the need of other people in our team, whether it's a classroom team or a corporate team.
Yeah. Thank you, Malaji. If somebody wants to check the curriculum and exact topics, we can also show the website here if you want. And like somebody's asking that, can you please share email? So everything is there on the website. So Prashant, if it is possible, can you actually show us the web page so that people can see the curriculum structure, the course outline, everything there? Prashant?
Yeah, sure, ma'am, we can.
Please, please. Vishwa Shahji, you can actually, if you want to talk to Malaji and want some more clarity, you can actually fill up that consultation wala form and we'll definitely connect you with Malaji. Yeah, you can see here our web page. Prashant, can you please scroll down? Yeah, please. Yes, there you can get all the details. You can download our brochure from here and like you can sign up for early access, as I said, for discounts. There you will get all the information that what intragogy we are using in our program, like what all you get in this program, what are the takeaways of this program. Prashant, can you scroll down and show us the curriculum structure, the course structure there? Yeah, here you can actually see the whole course structure. Module-wise course structure is there on the web page. Like in module 2, like if you want to know about what is there in role of Ayurvedic profiling, you can actually easily get all the information from here. Yeah. And here, like somebody asked, like how will we accept or reject the applications? So there is the admission process. It's very simple for all the teachers because we know because in this pandemic, we all are very stressed with our online teaching. So this program actually is a stress buster for all of you. It's a very simple process of admission. And we have tried to solve all your queries on our webpage only. You can actually visit the FAQ section. But still, if you have any question, just book an appointment with us. Yeah. Thank you so much, Prashant, for showing this. Thanks, Hima ji. You are like rightly saying that we should promote these kind of life-changing programs. So it's not about just attending one program. It's about bringing a change. Yeah. Yeah, the fee structure is mentioned. The early bird discount, which will you get when you apply, our applications are open. So once you apply, you'll definitely get the actually the information, and our the admission team will be in direct contact with you. Somebody's speaking. Yeah. Yeah. You want to ask something, Vishwa Shahji? Yeah. Okay. And all of you who have registered for this webinar, you will get a recording of this webinar by tomorrow on your email ID.
So, ma'am, what I wanted to ask about is there are a lot of online tests that are doing psychometric profiling and all of them give a different answer. So which one to use? Do you have any metric for that? Which one is a good reference?
No, so which psychometric are you asking for? Are you asking for Ayurveda psychometric or other psychometrics?
Ayurvedic psychometric.
Ayurvedic psychometrics, everyone should not be giving you different answers. I don't think so.
I've done 10 of them, and then all of them give you a different percentage. I don't know the reliability of what the tests are.
Okay. Okay, then trust us because our test is quite reliable and we have been using it for more than a decade now.
Okay, so it's there in your book as well, ma'am. Hard skill.
No, it's not. It's not available in the book. You will be able to do it once you join the program.
Okay. I understand that.
Thank you, Ishwa.
Yeah, I guess we have covered all the questions. So if Malaji, if you have something to close this webinar, you can actually take on. Then we'll close this webinar.
No, thank you so much, Gunjan, for anchoring this and bringing all the questions to my notice. It's difficult to read all the chat questions and raised hands. Thank you very much for a good evening, friends. All of you inspire us at Rashtram much more, because I honestly believe that the time is right for India. When we say for India, pandemic has actually proved that all the healthcare system in the world, which are really a sickness care, and they have failed. The more developed countries have had more issues in their health and happiness. I mean, such a small country like Bhutan said, we don't want GDP survey, but we want a happiness survey. And then many countries have started ministries of happiness. However, when we look at our Indian culture, we don't talk of happiness in a superficial way of the American way of saying that, pursuit of individual happiness, individual right. We also look at collective happiness. And therefore, in Ayurveda, happiness is called sukha. What is sukha? Su, we all know in any language, any Indian language, Su stands for better, auspicious. And kha is the space. Now, what are the space which make you happy? Which is, one is your body where we live, which is mind where we live, and also the house or the institution where we are connected. So this course talks of emotional intelligence, not only from Daniel Goleman perspective, but Ayurveda perspective of creating more sukha and more hita in this world. So thank you very much. I look forward to meeting all of you and many more. Share this with your friends if you have enjoyed this session. Ask them to ask questions if they have any questions. And we look forward to having all of you in level 1 and even level 2. So we spread this learning and this knowledge to humanity. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Malaji. In the last, I would again like to say this. So our course is open now, our applications are open. You can apply through our website. You can get all the details about our program on our website, or you can also schedule a call for any query. We'll be happy to give you the details. So great, thank you everyone. We appreciate you being here. Thanks again for joining us today. We'll hope that through this program, we'll be able to have more engaging classrooms through Ayurvedic and andragogical practices. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.